everyone, my name is Morgan Bates. I graduated from Michigan State University, spring 2017, with a bachelor's in supply chain management. Post-graduation, I went on to work for Lear Corporation. I'm currently participating in a 2-year rotational program where I rotate positions every 6 months over the course of 2 years. My first rotation was in global logistics in our electrical division. Then I moved on to Supply Chain Academy, where I managed our learning management system for our supply chain group, as well as worked as a commodity buyer on our electrical team as well. I went back to school now to obtain my MBA with a dual concentration in global supply chain management and sport and entertainment management. I was assigned Broaden Your Perspective, Scenario 17. In this scenario, we are faced with an issue regarding how environmental costs are calculated. Over time, politicians, scientists, economists, and business people have become concerned with the potential implications of global warming. Currently, coal-fired power plants is said to be the largest source of emissions contributing to global warming. These concerns led to many people directing their attention towards alternative energy solutions. As of right now, though the cost of alternative energy has declined from 80 to 20 to 4 cents per kilowatt hour, it is still higher than coal. However, many people argue that the current calculation of coal isn't adequate as it does not take environmental costs into consideration. Coal is a very cheap energy source. However, it is a significant contributor of greenhouse gases. So the question I was faced with reads as follows. Should environmental costs be incorporated into the decision formula when planners evaluate new power plants? Consider both the following answers. Yes, because as long as the environmental costs are ignored, renewable energy will appear to be too expensive when compared to coal, and we will ultimately destroy our environment. Or, no, because if one country decides to incorporate environmental costs into its decision-making process, but other countries do not, the country that does so will be at a competitive disadvantage because its products will cost more to produce. When calculating the true cost of energy, we must consider something known as the triple bottom line that consists of people, profits, and planet. I read an article from the Washington Post that stated, and I quote, "There are 2 ways to think about the cost of energy. There's the dollar amount that shows up on our utility bills or at the pump, and then there's the social cost. All the adverse consequences from coal to nuclear power end up fostering on the public." In Chapter 12, Planning Capital Investments, we learned about intangible benefits and how some projects fail to make it through the initial capital budget screen because only projects' tangible benefits are considered. In this case, the opposite occurs. By considering intangible non-benefits or disadvantages, planners can halt harmful projects. Planners who are calculating the cost of building new power plants are not taking the intangible negative disadvantages into account. By analyzing the environmental effects early on in the process, it could have potentially prevented the production of many current and future power plants. In considering why I do agree social and environmental costs should be incorporated into the decision-making process, I also analyzed the proposal on why they should not. As a reminder, the argument was to not include the costs due to a creation of competitive disadvantage if all countries do not implement the same practice. For example, if the US decided to implement the idea of including environmental and social costs into their calculations and other countries did not, I agree, yes, it would create a competitive disadvantage. However, countries thrive under the pressure and challenge. It would also inspire and almost force nations to get on board and also allow our environment to thrive as we continuously work towards a cleaner world. This competitive disadvantage will also encourage innovation around the world as other countries strive to compete in new ways. What I found interesting about this project is the ability to take a simple concept learned in Chapter 12 regarding how intangible benefits can affect a project and apply it on a grand scale. Though it may be much more challenging to actually quantify, it's definitely worth a shot. Thanks for watching.